4:30.
All right, all right. Welcome, family, to another episode of Black Power Radio. We are so
Welcome,
grateful for you
welcome.
to join us here this evening. Welcome. I'm your co host, your friendly neighborhood
You
policy
are
analyst.
live.
Yes, yes. Can you hear me? I know I'm live. I've been speaking the last few seconds. Black Power Radio, Black Power.
Black
Black
power.
Greetings.
doing.
Greet, greetings, family. All right. So we are so grateful again for you to join us here on Black Power Radio. This is your co host, your friendly neighborhood policy analyst, Dr. Truth Bay, here with my better half, Queen Janae in Zinga
Hello, hello.
Powerhouse.
Yes,
Greetings,
ma'am.
y'all.
We are here live from Washington, D.C. All I can say is,
Right
what a
on.
world, what a world, what a world. What a world we
Yes,
live
ma'am.
in. It's
You
been
had some
crazy.
stuff. I know that's right. We're
Yes.
gonna talk about the craziness tonight. Oh yeah, we got 3 weeks to hand this down, and so we got a special coverage tonight. And
Mhm.
so, greetings, Mr. Busy One. Shout out to Busy One Radio, Busy One Entertainment. You can listen to us live if you download the app, Busy One Entertainment, and make sure that you hear all the wonderful shows that Busy One Entertainment has. We are so grateful again to have you join us right here on Black Power Radio. And we do have our brother, like no other mother, right? Brother Raheem Congo Raw from the DMV. Greetings and welcome, brother.
Salute, Black Power. Appreciate y'all having me on board. Hope y'all having a good day. Y'all staying vigilant, staying dangerous, and youth first. Let's continue to push the Million Youth March coming up in this, September
That's
5th to
right.
the 6th, and let's continue to lock in and mobilize and agitate, as Brother New World say. You know what I mean? And keep it back,
Agitate,
keep it
educate,
back revolutionary,
organize.
like National Chairman Akbar say.
Right
And
on.
salute General Nzinga. You already know it's 24/7, 365. I'ma hold the line, and just keep pushing, y'all. Salute, Black Power. Appreciate y'all.
Black Power, and we want to first and foremost offer our condolences, my brother, because you know you lost your cousin this week. If you want to give her a shout out, our hope and our love and our hugs are with you and the family, and prayer and condolences
I
as
appreciate
well.
that. I really do. My cousin, my cousin Nala, she was suffering from lupus. She was 22 years old, and my cousin Amani, who's very close with me, coincidentally, during the same time frame, it was her birthday, the day she had to bury her daughter, her oldest child at that. So
Mm,
it's definitely tough, and it's a spiritual thing. So I'm just trying to keep her spirits high, and her family is staying
yes.
strong, and most importantly, they supporting my cousin, cause she's a single mother. She always been a single mother, and so
Yeah.
it's extremely tough, and also, there's a young lady who was missing in Charlotte, North Carolina. They just found her deceased. And I'm send y'all the information on that as well. I'm gonna
Okay.
stay on that and keep y'all updated because we're gonna try and find out how she was found deceased and what happened. Because in
Hmm.
North Carolina they do have racist militias that's
Right.
terrorizing the black community, like that young brother that was found hung 2 miles away from the Ku Klux Klan headquarters in North Carolina. So we gotta keep our eyes out on everything that's going on in the black community. You know what I mean? But that's the only thing that's going on. You know, we got a youth rally coming up April 26th. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on that as well. So salute MOJ, salute General Nzinga, salute everybody who's tuning in. Continue to tune in. Salute Black Power. All power
Salute
to the
to
people.
Black Power, brother. My
Black
condolences.
Powers. Yes,
Um,
sir.
so we have
Yes.
a big panel today. Look at our new guest. We have
Hey,
hello everyone. Welcome to Black
greetings.
Power Radio.
Right on, right
Greetings.
on.
You
We are
ready?
so grateful. Yes, we finna get ready in a few. All right, family. So before we get down to our highlight today, we have a very exclusive story that we're going to be covering. This is about 2 years, 2 years in the making, and we're going to talk about a young man named Paris Dismukes, and how not only was he working 1 week and a half at BJ's Brewery in Springfield, Ohio, but he was tragically killed without any justice. So we're going to talk about Jan de la Pan Torrentino, Filipino fool that deemed incompetent to stand trial, and where we are today. So we are grateful today to, I need the full screen to see some of our guests, family of Paris, to speak not only on where we are today with finding justice, but to take us back into August 11th. So let's exit this full screen. We're going to queue up some of the video, and then we'll talk about where we are today and introduce all of our guests.
Year-old Jan De La Paix Tolentino
No, I
fatally
got
stabbed his
no.
co-worker,
Let's-
32.
Okay, hold on.
Not that one.
No, I'm sharing the screen.
Okay.
We're going to start off with there's several news reports, so we're going to start off with this one,
Okay.
and then we'll play that one afterwards. Thank you.
Okay.
Claim the suspect stabbed his coworker because a witch told him the other man was going to shoot him. BJ's Restaurant and Brew House opened for business today after a bizarre and tragic incident just after closing last night.
BJ's Brew House, Tri-County. Need ambulance right away.
A man called 911 from the restaurant saying an employee was bleeding from the neck. As if he is tending to the victim.
More towels right now. It's a stab. I need an ambulance right now.
Okay, was this caused by
Yeah.
a fight or?
I don't know. I don't know. I need an officer and a paramedic first.
Springdale police arrested 18-year-old Jan Tolentino of Coleraine Township. He's been charged with murder. The victim has been identified as 32-year-old Paris Dismukes. According to court documents, Tolentino stabbed his coworker multiple times in the neck because a witch had told him that the other man was going to shoot him in the head with a gun. Other restaurant employees told me they were told not to comment. The company that owns BJ's, BSB Group International, said in a statement, "We are heartbroken to learn about last tragic event at the Tri-County Mall complex that resulted in the senseless loss of life. Our deepest condolences go to the families, employees, and neighbors affected by this tragedy." And at this point, we really don't know any of the circumstances that led up to this stabbing. Tolentino is due in court tomorrow morning. Reporting live in Springdale tonight, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
All right. So this was August 11th in 2022. And again, welcome the family of Paris here. We have Veda Wright, I believe, and Miss Jordan Cobb.
Yes.
And
Okay.
we have Shedrin
All
Wright.
right.
She's sitting right next to me, the mother of Paris.
Okay, Miss Cedric.
I
Yes,
believe
ma'am.
my
So we're
dad
gonna
is
start
still
off.
trying to. I believe my dad, Barry Cobb, the parent that me and Paris both share, is still trying to log on, but we can go ahead.
Okay. I want to say first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on Black Power Radio and sharing this story. It's a very important story that I believe that not only needs justice, but also accountability. So can you tell us that night, August 11th, can you take us back and please let's tell us who exactly Paris Dismuke is?
Paris is a wonderful, big hearted, fun loving, family oriented father, son, brother, uncle, cousin. He always reached out to everyone and made everyone feel his love. Um, Even when family wasn't getting together or close with each other, he made sure that we did. He loved for family to get together. He loved his children. He has 5.
Mhm.
An 18-year-old boy, 12-year-old daughter, 9-year-old daughter, 7-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old daughter.
Wow. Father of 5. And how are the kids coping with that, the loss of their dad?
It's hard. I know his oldest tries to block everything and put everything, suppress it. We're trying to get him to stop doing that because that's not good for him.
Yeah.
The
Definitely
daughters,
need. Mhm.
they're the little ones, they really don't really get it. They just know their father's not around. But the oldest daughter, she's going through it, and she's
Yeah.
not getting any help right now.
Oh, but she definitely will. And this is why we wanted to start the introduction of the story and the unjustified case of Paris. This is going to be a ongoing investigation. Um, we are going to make sure that all of the parties, including the judges, uh, that has swept this under the rug. We're going to give a shout out to BJ's. We're going to break it down. But again, we wanted to bring it on Black Power Radio because, again, we're not going to allow uh, abuse. We're not going to allow the tragedy or the killings of our Black men and women to go unanswered. So I thank you for taking a brave step for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
And I would like to know I know Paris was sort of the VP of Busy One Entertainment. So maybe Barry can weigh in a little bit on that. But I'd like to talk to Miss Jordan. Jordan, did I say it correct? Jordan?
Jordan Cobb, yes, ma'am.
Jordan Cobb. And thank you and welcome, sister, for thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about your brother, who was Paris, and where were you guys when you heard what happened that fateful night?
Um, well, me and my brother was really, really, really close. I'm the youngest on our dad's side. Paris is the oldest sibling. We're 11 years apart. Um,
Mm.
Goodness gracious, that I'm sorry, that phone call from BJ's when you played the video gave me chills. It threw me off. Like I actually never listened to that. Me and Paris
Wow.
was extremely, extremely close. Um, I would probably say, I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but like we were extremely, extremely close. My brother was the light of everything. Um, he literally brought joy to anywhere he was. It's so crazy because I always speak about him and I always know what I want to say, but I don't know why today I'm so sad. The night though that all of this happened, I'm gonna take you back to the morning of August 11th, 2022.
Okay.
My dad, he had to go to the office, but by him having 2 heart attacks, I just kept telling him like he was like, I need to get my tire changed. I don't know who I'm gonna have to do it. Da, da, da. I'm like, call Paris. You know Paris to do it. He's gonna help you. He was like, okay. But for some reason, that whole day, I was just so adamant about him calling my brother that day. I'm like, call Paris. Like, you need to talk to Paris. Call Paris. He like, okay, Jordan. Like, stop telling me to call Paris. I'm going to call Paris. I talk to Paris every day. And I'm like, okay, well, have you talked to Paris? Have you talked to Paris? This was the whole day. I had chills the whole day, and my anxiety was really, really bad the whole day. And I couldn't pinpoint why. Until when I finally got home, because I was working 2 jobs at the time. Finally got home, I finally laid down for maybe 5 minutes, but I was so anxious and I couldn't figure out why. And my mom had came upstairs and she said, I need you to call Emir, which is Paris's oldest son. And he was like, I need you to call Emir and have him wake up Cedrin because Paris has been stabbed. And I'm like, stabbed? So in my head, I'm like, stabbed where? Like, where was he at? I'm automatically thinking it was the studio, as I believe most of us was thinking that it was the studio. But they were like, no, he was at work at BJ's. And I'm like, why was he at BJ's? But I remember him telling me a few days before that he was working at BJ's and he was ready to quit because the vibes was weird and strange and he didn't want to be there. So when it was first initial brought to us, we thought it was just like a couple times stabbing potentially, or even one time. And we didn't get much information on it because they wasn't really trying to give us information. My little cousin Marvin was the one who called our dad and told us that he had been stabbed and Paris was still at BJ's and they was trying to figure everything out. And we had just got a hold of Emir so he can wake up Mama Cedrin. And it was just kind of like a maze of all of us trying to figure out where he was and why he was still at the restaurant and what was taking him so long. Because it took the police over 30 minutes to show up to even help him or get him any type of care. So we were still trying to figure out where he was.
30 minutes.
But he was still at the restaurant. So the whole time I'm like, Dad, have you talked to Paris? He was like, no. In that moment, I knew my brother wasn't okay because everybody knew Paris didn't want any of us to worry. He didn't want any of us to be frightened. Anything that had to do with something being wrong, he didn't want us to worry about that. He always told us everybody has a time stamp. Everybody has things that they have to do and not to worry. So that's what he always expressed. So when my dad told me that he didn't talk to him, I knew something wasn't right. So when we actually all end up figuring out, okay, they're going to UC Hospital in Westchester. When we got there, we was being rerouted. I know they were being rerouted, like just trying to get there. But it just seemed like time. God didn't want us to see Paris like that. So time wasn't meshing up. So we was all being rerouted to get to the hospital. I remember getting there and I had ran into Mama Cedrin, his little sister Brooklyn, Asia, Veda. We all trying to figure out what's going on. We got pulled into that room, and that's when they originally said, it's more serious than we thought. It's been about 8 stab wounds or more. And now by this time we in shock because it's like, well, we thought it was a couple times or maybe even once, but now we being told that it's way more and it's a more dangerous situation. In that time frame, they're like, we're going to take y'all upstairs. And during that time of them trying to take us upstairs, they were trying to kind of rush us out the room to get upstairs. But in that moment, that's when we actually seen them roll Paris out. So he was facing the opposite direction on the bed, but we couldn't see. I couldn't see his face, and all we kept asking was that Paris? Is that Paris? They kept trying to force us the opposite direction, and I said, no, is that my brother? Is that Paris? And they said yes, and it was like the silence just covered the room because it was like we knew he wasn't okay in that moment at all. And got upstairs. We was up there for quite some time, and it seemed like right when the doctors walked in and was like, unfortunately, Paris didn't make it. It was like a slow motion from that point on because we didn't know how serious it was. When it was originally reported, it wasn't serious. They didn't make it seem urgent. They said someone was bleeding from the neck. The management there, like everything I felt was very careless. On behalf of BJ's because you hire somebody back that you already fired. This could have happened to anybody.
Right.
I don't know if he did have anything. Sorry.
Yeah, no, actually we're gonna talk a little bit about Jan Tolentino as well at length because that's one of the things that really struck me. Like, how did he I would say almost get away with murder, honestly, from based on the justice system. Can you tell us a little bit about after he was caught? What was the procedures in trials for Jan?
Well, his mother and father and brother also worked there. They
Oh, wow. Wow.
mhm.
We didn't know that.
And when the police showed up, they waved the police down and said that Tolentino needed help, not Paris. Tolentino needed help. And when the police realized my son was in there bleeding to death, that's when they called for the ambulance. And
My God.
they took him in, but it wasn't like he was a suspect or a murderer or violent murderer. They just took him in lightly. And they took him down to the Justice Center. He vandalized one of the rooms. They dropped that. He had drugs on him. They dropped that.
And what kind of drugs was it?
They said it was marijuana,
Mm-hmm.
but I was told he was a heroin addict.
That would make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
When we went to court the next day, he didn't even show up for court.
Well, what was the reason? Did they give you a reason?
Not that I remember, no. The judge, his lawyer, asked that he be excused from court.
And he was granted that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was granted that. This is precisely why I say this justice system is going to be flipped on its head with the spirit of our loved ones. So again, this is the first step of bringing to light. So thank you for tuning in. If you're here listening to Black Power Radio, we're here every Sunday and Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific, Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And today we are breaking down the story of beloved father, brother, son, Paris Dismukes. And we have a family here, the Wright and the Cobbs, taking down memory lane. But our main purpose is to really not only highlight the story, but to seek justice for Paris. Can we play the first video? We just spoke about Jan. We're going to call him It for what he has done. Moving the first video.
Paris Dismukes at BJ's restaurant and brew house multiple times in the neck because a witch told him Dismukes was going to shoot him in the head with a gun. Dismukes, who died later at the hospital, was a father of 5. Tolentino was charged with multiple crimes, including murder and possession of illegal substances. He was found unfit to stand trial.
Monstrous. Let's talk about that. So, when the police arrived at BJ's, you said they arrived 30 minutes later.
About 30 minutes or later, honestly. I believe it was later, but it took them quite some time to get there.
And they're right around the corner from the restaurant.
They're less than a mile away.
Wow. Less than a mile away. And so when they transported Paris to which hospital at that time?
UC, it was UC Westchester. So they didn't even take him to
the trauma hospital.
The trauma hospital in Clifton. They took him all the way to Westchester, and they're level 3, which is not even equipped for something like that.
Mm-hmm. And you say his father and his mother. Can you tell us a little about his family members working at the restaurant as well? And if you know the name of the manager, we need to shout him out as well.
Mm-hmm.
We can get him off the screen. Janae, go back to our guest.
I don't know if that's a question that they want me to answer, but I know for sure the brother was there, and I know for sure that I was told as well that the mother worked there as well, because in between everything going on, like after the whole situation, a lot of the coworkers was communicating like with us about XYZ and their family dynamics, and they was even afraid to talk. It was told not to talk to us because of, I guess, the ongoing investigation. But I know for
please.
sure his right,
Investigation.
and that's it's crazy
Non-existent.
because the brother, I know for sure the brother worked there because an hour before Paris was murdered, he called our dad with the brother and Tolentino and literally said, "Hey, Dad," mind you, Paris is really like goofy, laughing, smiling. You can just hear his spirit through the phone. "Hey, Dad, I got these Filipinos that make music," mind you, because the company, Busy One Entertainment. I got some Filipinos that make music that I'm going to bring down to the studio. So our dad is like, "Oh yeah, bring them down, like bring them around." Like they like, and it's back talking. "We make music, yeah. We gonna come see you." And an hour later,
Really?
Paris is stabbed to death because he bone rushed him from behind
Yep.
while he was cleaning dishes with his music in. And he's turning around trying to figure out what's going on, and you just keep stabbing him. Paris threw the dishes up in the air, knocked the dish rack over, because by this time he's bone rushed. Stuff is just
Right.
going on, and by this point he's trying to fight, but it's like, what can you do when somebody's just keep stabbing you and literally everywhere?
To the
And
I'm sorry. To the
no, go
point
ahead, Mom.
Yeah.
he stabbed him in his jaw.
His
He
ear.
severed his ear. He stabbed him in the neck, in the jugular. So I believe he knew exactly where to stab him at.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah, he's from the Philippines. They teach their kids knife fighting at a young age. That's their primary martial arts, is knife fighting.
Mm.
So he butchered our son. To stab him that many times, and when Paris went to grab to protect his neck, he stabbed through his hand as well.
Yes, he did.
My God. And this is what they call incompetent to stand trial.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
He knew
competent to stand
exactly and
trial.
where and how to kill. He wasn't trying to hurt him. He was trying to kill him.
Exactly.
And
Right.
he did just that.
So was there any camera footage? Were you able to review the actual
They
There
would
was
They would not let us review the camera.
Yeah, we
footage.
haven't seen anything.
one of the workers
Had video.
had video, and she offered to share it with us. This is the day after. And I was the one that says, do not share that video with nobody here at this time. It will
When
be,
was this?
this was the day after.
August the 12th.
Okay. August 12th.
She had actual video of him bleeding in the lobby of the restaurant. The camera footage and everything.
Yeah, but the camera footage, the body cam from the officers,
Mhm.
they never let us see none of that.
Was it
And-
subpoenaed? Was it requested?
No. No.
Okay.
They filed for a bench trial instead of trial.
I see.
Paris's his phone was missing, his keys was missing, everything that he had in his pockets was missing, and it was pinging in Kentucky, and then it was shut off by whoever had his belongings. But the doctors, everyone said, oh, he had nothing in his pockets. He had his phone, he had his keys, he had stuff in his pockets that was still missing and is still missing.
Yes, because I was calling him after I heard he was stabbed. I was texting him, and his light was still on Facebook, and I was telling him I'm on my way. But by the time we started driving, they were en route to the hospital, which we thought was the trauma center UC, and they took him to the trauma 3 instead of the trauma 1.
So all the procedures on even life-saving methods were not even considered
No, they were
in
not.
Paris's case. Monstrous. So
Even down to opening the doors the next morning and having coworkers clean up blood and not having the health team come out and clean up blood that's still in the kitchen while they're serving food to people that very next morning because the GM just said he didn't think about it.
Yeah, he told me, "Oh, I didn't think about it." I said, "Why did you open the next day?" He said, "Oh, I didn't think about it."
So you mean to tell me they had business as usual the very next day?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. The very next day, while blood might have not been on top of the carpet, but I guarantee you it was soaked in the carpet.
And they
They
said it
had,
was still in the
Wow.
back where the dishes was, and that coworkers was still trying to clean it up, but it was too much blood back there.
and his
My
other
God.
sister had went to go get his car or get his keys for his car that night after we left the
Hmm.
hospital. That's when she said she seen all the coworkers in there cleaning,
My God. Oh,
and that was
this is
like 1, 2 o'clock.
absolutely, yeah, this is absolutely disrespectful. So let's talk about BJ's. BJ's Brewery. So for our audience who may not know who they are. So BJ's is a multi-billion dollar company. Not million, billion-dollar company.
Yes.
And the director is Gregory S. Levin. So we're going to name, let me share the screen. We're going to name some of the board of directors on blast, put them on blast. Now, the governor of Ohio, did any apology or any involvement with local politicians? Did anybody send their condolences or follow up with you? And going to tell us a little bit about now what the case is pending now.
No one reached out to us. I had no help. I felt alone, unheard. We had the, I guess, the manager or the president of BJ's of that restaurant gave us $10,000 for his funeral, and that was it.
Hush money.
Yeah,
Not even.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to highlight Gregory Levin. All right. So let's talk about the board of directors. As you can see here, family. So we're going to put on notice. These are, I believe, a dozen members of BJ's board of directors, and they are the one that runs the stocks, all the corporate funding, all of the financials concerning this multi-billion dollar company. So we have Lee Ann S. Ottinger, who is the board chair, C. Bradford Richmond, who is the interim chief CEO and director. We have Bina Shareza, former chief admin, James A. Dal Pozo, former chairman, Noah A. Elbogan, partner and chief financial officer. We have Julius W. Robinson Jr., chief sales and marketing, Janet M. Sherlock, Gregory, which is the CEO for OrgWorks, and then Gregory Trojan, which is the retired CEO of BJ's. The person that we need to highlight for sure is Mr. Gregory Levin. So we are going to put him up on the screen, full blast. Share this tab instead. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is Gregory. Oh, well, it says here that Gregory Levin stepped down, family. Nonetheless, he's still going to be held responsible.
Because he was there at the time.
He's still going to be held responsible. Yeah, he was there at the time. So we're going to put this in the chat because we're going to follow up with this afterwards. And right before we continue, I believe we have our national chairman, Sheikh Imam Akbar, on the line with us. If you want to chime in, I'm going to head right back and following to this story. Here we go. Okay, well, if he's not available at the time, we want to remind you, thank you guys again for tuning into Black Power Radio. We're here every week, Sunday, Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And today we're covering the story of a beloved son, brother, and father, Paris Dismukes, and the unjustified case in which he has not sought justice to this day. We also have their family members here, his sister Judane, Mr. and Mrs. Wright. Again, thank you for being here with us. Can you tell us what is the case right now with Jan, the perpetrator? What currently is the situation with the court date?
We just,
Oh,
I'm sorry, baby, go ahead.
no, I'll let you go ahead, Mom. But I was just gonna say, well, first and foremost, I am a PhD student in criminal justice and human services. So, like a lot of the certain terms that they use throughout, I kind of basically been the one just kind of communicating back with the family. But I know Mama said, and I know I'm gonna let her go into the court dates and stuff. But basically, back in May, they ruled it as a plea of insanity. So he was not guilty by insanity. And
Hmm.
basically, during that time, we didn't know that we were going to see him at all because we hadn't seen Juan Tolentino at all the whole time. They didn't warn the family. They didn't say anything. Randomly on, I believe, May 6th, and Mama said you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we came in regarding the bench trial, and in that moment, she automatically told us due to court documents and facts, specifically based on the facts, that is why she allowed him to go ahead and plead insanity, not guilty by insanity. She's asked us if we had any last words, and mind you, we're all baffled because one, this is the first time us seeing him at all since everything happened. We've never seen him. The family was
Hmm.
bone rushed. The whole time we were just kind of treated and left out in the dark. Nobody communicated with us. Nobody told us what was going on. It was kind of like we were on the suspect side. It kind of felt and it's weird
Mm-hmm.
because studying the system as long as I have been, especially being a PhD student, the survivor or victim is never really the survivor or victim. Honestly, the suspect a lot of times have more rights than the victim or survivor, and that's the
Right.
sad part. But yeah, when we got up there, we didn't know what we wanted to say. It was kind of like we were thrown to the wolves, and at that time, it still was ringing the bell. Like, how is he incompetent, but his head is down? How is he incompetent, but he has feelings towards the situation? How is he
Hmm.
incompetent, but he's looking around and trying not to make eye contact? This is not somebody that's, in my opinion, honestly, anybody that can sit up here and stab anyone, I definitely believe something is definitely wrong with you and you're inhumane. But you have
Right.
feelings about the situation. Your head is down. You feel guilt. You know what you did was wrong. But
Mhm.
of course, you're going to play with the system, and the system is going to play with us because it's another black man that they can easily bury, and it is what it is, and they can put it up under the rug.
Right. Right. And I believe
Um,
that's what it has to do with. Had it been the other way around, there would have been some type of follow through
Mhm.
to
yes,
Barry.
because they were
And
acting like that, like Paris' life didn't matter, like he wasn't a son, like he wasn't a brother, like he wasn't a father, like his
Like he
life
was
didn't
nothing.
matter. And it's just, I think that's the most like painful part, like especially for me. And again, Mama Cedric and them can speak for themselves, but I'm studying this, and how am I supposed to sit up here and fight for other people eventually when I become an attorney or a judge? And I'm sitting here and nothing is going on with my brother's case, and it's basically swept under the rug. When, mind you, a lot of the interviews, any pictures that a lot of people see is me and my brother in these photos, and that was my biggest cheerleader, and I don't have that no more. I don't have that, and I feel like people always ask, what keeps you going about Paris? But Paris would have did it for me, and I'm that little sister that now I'm working my way through the system, even as a Hamilton County worker right now, that
hmm
God blessed me with a job with Hamilton County. And I will be seeing a lot of these judges and the people involved. And it's just interesting because they try so hard to sweep us under the rug. But God chose Paris. He just gave us him for a little bit of time, but God chose
right.
Paris, and everybody is going to remember Paris' name, and everybody's going to feel his name, and it's going to haunt them. But God is
Absolutely.
it's up to God, and honestly, you all thank you, but it's just
No,
it's
thank you.
disheartening.
Absolutely. And congratulations for your career path. We are definitely rooting for you. We need sisters like you in the field of the justice system and to carry your brother's spirit. So yeah, they're gonna regret every part of denying and giving basic justice. But again, we are just starting out with introducing this case because we are going to give follow ups and updates, and we're going to make sure that justice is served. So, family, if you're listening, please like and share this episode. Let everyone know concerning, and if you have a loved one that needs to seek justice, please come on Black Power Radio and tell them and let their spirit keep their spirit alive because this is the only way we're going to seek justice. First and foremost. So, Mom, if you could tell us, what would you like to see?
I
Because
would
the
like to see him go to jail
yeah,
for the rest of his life.
yes,
Um, I would like to see people aware of what's going on because everywhere I go, I talk about it. I don't care if it's to a doctor, a coffee restaurant, coffee station. I'm talking about it because no one in Cincinnati really knows what happened. They like,
hmm
oh, I did see that on the TV, but I didn't know it was this deep.
right. They
Yeah, it's
know.
this deep. And
Yeah,
I want people to know who he was, what he stood for, where he was going, what he was building for himself and his children. Because it was cut short and it didn't have to be.
right.
So that's basically, I just want to see justice
And
for my.
when is the next court hearing? What is the schedule trial?
They said they sent him back to the Summit Behavioral Center till November the 19th, 2026.
November the 19th. Did you I don't know if I heard this correctly. You said next year, 2025,
No, 2026.
2026.
Yes.
I mm, I don't even know what to say to that. That's not even remotely justice. No, we certainly going to see something before the 26th of 2026. Who does that?
And when he
How do
came to
you
court, when Tolentino came to court, mind you, he's supposed to have been in the behavioral center already. He came to
Mhm.
court with his hair perfectly done, perfectly combed, perfectly braided.
Mm.
Long, his hair was long down his back. And I'm looking like, you don't look like you've been in no behavioral center.
Yeah, he sure don't look like incompetent, as they
No, he did
like
not.
to say.
And when we all got up to speak,
Hmm.
it was
Well,
just,
this
and
is precisely why we have to have, yeah.
they didn't let the press in the day that we all spoke, the day that we got the verdict of him going to the behavioral center. They didn't let the press in. But the next
Hmm.
court day, they let him in.
So these are the things that we suggest as far as his belongings. His phone that you said his belongings were not retrieved as well.
No, they were not. The hospital
Oh,
claimed, I called the hospital, I called the police station, I called BJ's. Everyone claimed they didn't see anything. They didn't find anything. Then the hospital called back and said, oh, we must have threw that stuff away with the his clothes because
hmm,
it was with blood. So we must have threw it away.
absolutely, absolutely, they did. So Gregory Levine, even if you retired or stepped down, sir, you're gonna have to face the music. Absolutely, absolutely. Your children and your grandchildren as well. Whoever it is, your little dog too. If we have to bring you to justice, but nonetheless, Gregory S. Levine is the responsible party. And when you know the last name Levine is one of them
Yes.
folks, Kanye been talking about it. You know, they try to cancel him, but you can try to cancel us if you can try. But we just started here. Black Power Justice is definitely going to be served on a
Yes.
cold platter. And Jordan, can you tell us what would you like to see in your brother's case
Um,
ultimately?
yes.
Um, it's so, like I said, it's so like weird for me to say certain things because the justice system is built on so much crap.
Hmm.
Um, that of course, my regular human answer would be, okay, I want to see justice.
Right.
Um, but I feel like through this different stages of grief that I went through, that I am still going through in regards to my brother's passing, um, I want to see justice, but I want to see justice for people who have also gone through this that they may be quiet. I want to see justice for people that feel like they can't speak up. I want to see justice for the same people that could potentially be in the same situation, but they scared of these big corporations and they feel like they can't say anything. I
Hmm.
want more awareness to be brought to mental health because I feel like it's still pushed up under the rug, like it's not serious.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people have lost their lives at the hands of these big corporations because they're big corporations. Um, and I just want people to realize that taking innocent lives and it's such a touchy thing to say because it's so many people that battle mental health. I mean, even I
Yes.
experience it,
Hmm.
but it just cannot keep happening where innocent lives are taken because someone is mentally ill, which is why that big piece, like there needs to be things implemented into jobs where they're going deep into your history of what you've done, what you've gone through. I'm like seriously mental health evaluation when you're hiring these people because this stuff is serious and there's been so many people losing
Yes.
their lives because of someone mentally ill. And most people can say, oh, they're not mentally ill, but then you're left over here with the family that's grieving the loss of a loved one that could have been
Yeah.
prevented if they never even if they took the precautions that they need to do in the beginning. And which brings me back to the exact point where these jobs they be so thirsty like BJ's to hire people that
Hmm.
when Paris just went in to have lunch after he took our little cousin Marvin, because our cousin Marvin have been working there, mind you. Marvin, he has disabilities, so through the organization he's with, he was able to work at BJ's, and he started at BJ's maybe a few years ago. But Marvin has seen everything. So just to inform you all, this is not the first stabbing at BJ's in Springdale. There was
Really?
another guy by the name of Steve who was stabbed 3 months before that Marvin witnessed, but the guy was able to get off on the other guy and fight him off. So it wasn't as vicious, but it was another stabbing that did happen, in fact, 3 months before all of this has happened.
Monstrous.
They
Monstrous.
did not go
And,
deep into that at all.
mhm. And he was only there for a week, right?
Yes,
Honestly, like 4 days. Paris was not there as long at all.
he wasn't there long at all.
My God.
And already had plans to quit. And Marvin, which is my little cousin who actually helped with Paris getting the job, he's seen everything. And it's just like, this is what I keep saying, like, why I feel like this could have happened to anybody. Paris could have just cracked a smile like he always do, being just laughing and happy. But because his spirit was bothered,
Hmm.
I feel like this is deeper than just human. I feel like this guy was battling something spiritually, especially when you're saying a witch told me to do it. They actually practice a lot of this stuff over there. So it's just like I just feel like it's way deeper than what we can see. And it's
Yes.
just so crazy because even Mama Cedric can touch base on this, but Paris was even telling his mom that he felt like he was going to get stabbed weeks before.
Yeah, months
Set
before.
of premonition.
Yeah, he was. He was talking about it a lot. Um,
What do you think
Paris,
came up with that premonition? Why would you think he would be feeling that?
Paris was very spiritual as a child. Um,
Hmm.
when I say when he was little, we went to church a lot. He went to church a whole lot, but it's like he would dream things or have these feelings, and he would call and be like, "Is everybody okay? I got that feeling." And I'm like, "Yeah." Or when his grandmother died, my mom, he knew something, but he
Hmm.
never knows when or why. He just can feel it in his spirit.
Right. In tune with with the Most High, and that's
Yes,
one of the things that Barry was explaining. That yeah, Paris was a spiritual, uh, very spiritual and easygoing
Mhm.
made people laugh a lot. I've seen a lot of videos and pictures. He's always smiling and making other people smile. So yeah,
Yes.
his spirit definitely was too great for this earth, but nonetheless, justice still will be served. So what we're hearing right now, this is only the introduction, and thank you for starting out with this. But this is a journey. A Black Power family is with you, gonna walk with you, and to seek justice for Paris by any means necessary. So I'm gonna go right to our panel. We do have, I don't know if Shaky Mom's still here, but we do have our next guest that we're going to be talking about the Africa move. Uh, Janine Phillips is here with us. So we thank you so much for being here
On the move.
on the move.
On the
All
move.
right.
Welcome, Sister Janine. Welcome.
Yes,
Act-
yes.
Actually, it's going to be my sister Janet that's going to be doing the speaking. On the move. On the move.
Yes. On the move. Blessings, Sister Janet. Greetings. Grateful to have you on.
Okay, it's good to be here.
Yes, yes. Okay, so in a few 15 minutes, we're going to start off with African family. All right, so Miss Jordan, we can get back to closing statements. Is Barry able to get on?
I think he was having technical difficulties with getting on. So a lot of times I fill in for like our father.
Okay. Now, what we like specifically is to have a FOIA, is to have the request for the camera. The camera footage needs to be revealed and needs to be brought forth. And also the whereabouts of his phone, the whereabouts of his belongings is also a start of requesting for these items. And so, Governor, I'm going to talk about the governor and the local jurisdiction and the next steps. So, for those listening audience, may they want to know what location was the BJ's restaurant located in Springfield
Tri County Mall.
at the Tri County Mall.
Yes.
And is that BJ still operating?
No.
No.
Oh, so
They
it's
closed down a year, December, the last, right before New Year's last year. They closed down and they tried to make it seem like it was due to them just wanting to close down. It had nothing to do with the killing of Paris and all these things. But it's crazy because right when they start talking about potential verdicts on Juan Tolentino,
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Okay, so we're definitely gonna have to highlight this address there and see what we can do to make sure that location is a memorial of some sort, a legacy for Paris. Now, how are the kids holding up? The family, how are they
Um,
feeling at the moment?
they're okay. I have his oldest son. He's in therapy. He goes to therapy every other Friday to try to cope. And his four daughters, I don't get to see much because now they're from us.
Okay, well, we send them our condolences and our love and support. And so, with that being said, do we have any questions from our panelists for our esteemed guest? You're listening to
Um,
Black Power Radio, a story of
Black
Paris
Power.
dispute. Black
This
Power.
is this is Queen Janae Nzinga. I just want to extend my sincerest condolences to your family for this tragic
Thank you.
event that happened. I myself I experienced multiple tragedies back to back, and I just want to encourage you, Jordan. Don't give up on your dreams because of this, babe. Don't give up. You have more support now from your brother than you ever will in your life. I lost both of my brothers tragically. I can't even deny it, and that forced me to become an activist because we need more strong black women like yourself to advocate for the injustice of other
Yes.
people. You understand, babe? It hurts us the most because we lost so much to get to that point. So you have a reason to fight for your people.
Thank you.
You have a reason to fight for your brother's legacy. I fight for both
Yes.
of my brothers every day, and it's needed. We need more young lawyers and more advocates, and we need civil rights attorneys. And like I'm in DC, we right here at Howard University, and I look at these children every day going to school, and I'm like, do you not see what's going on around you? Can you not see the
Right.
suffering of your people? So yes, you guys have suffered, and that doesn't take anything away from your grief. You lost your brother. I definitely empathize with you, your entire family. I don't know what it feels like to lose a child, but I do know what it feels like to lose your brother. But me knowing that I
Yes.
have the strength of them with me, knowing that people love my brothers, they were good people. They didn't wasn't out here robbing, shooting, killing nobody. Things just happen. Tragedies happen. And I know he was a good man from the way you all explained him and his children, and just commemorate his memory. You want to know how to do it? Honor his memory, honor his legacy. Have a I encourage one of my friends that lost her daughter tragically. Start a foundation in their name, a trust fund.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Think about that. Think about the most positive things you can get out of the most negative things that it could ever happen, you know, and bless somebody else and continue to bless other people's in his name and in his legacy. He didn't do nothing wrong. You don't have nothing to be ashamed of. You can celebrate your son, celebrate your brother's life. And I'm gonna land my plane, and I thank you and I
Right.
love you. And we're gonna continue on with this series of getting justice for him. But in the meantime, find something that you are that he was inspired by and honor him with that. And that's just what the word is given to me right now. And I'm gonna land my plane. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Black Power Radio tonight.
Ashe.
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 Most definitely. Thanks.
Ashe.
Thank you so much. And I do want to let you guys know it's a
Yes.
coming, so it's placed on your heart for a reason. So we're getting that, and a person that will be, of course, in honor of parents, just bringing that awareness back to mental health and talking about
Hmm.
workplace violence, and people don't talk about workplace violence. And I actually, on his birthday, Paris Dismuke Day, on his birthday every year, every year, Cincinnati, it will be Paris Dismuke Day. And we celebrations in regards to that. It was the first time us celebrating and me presenting it to everyone on his birthday this past September 7th. And also I
September
got
7th.
everyone
That's
doing the
that's
organization.
his birthday.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's his birthday. So he was the month before and was looking forward to his birthday, but I'm
Yeah.
on day on his birthday in Cincinnati. Also part of the organization CSSG to go to Washington D.C. Where I got to lead a workplace violence awareness and other things. Spent a whole day, 2 days for that march. So there's a lot of things that I've been trying to do and keep our family in the loop, especially his parents, our parents. So I call it my parents. I love his mom. Like I say, but I just try to do these
Beautiful.
things just so we, I know it breaks my heart to see dad like that and his mom. So any
Yeah.
way that I can help you with me being in the system, I want to do that. And I don't want to just keep being sad. I would still want to turn that pain into something that can help
Right.
the next person because that's what I made sure of it. So I appreciate what she said because I'm definitely working. It's just hard, but I cry in church every Sunday, so it's okay.
It's all right. You got to let it out, and that's again. It's going to be a joyful um, end of time. What we're working on right now is to have this location, and this is why we're asking specifically these BJs that's in Springfield, that we're going to work towards having that location dedicated as a resource center in the name of Paris Demuke's legacy. And so
Yes.
we say this on Black Power Radio as an ideology, but in actually it'll be a reality. So 2026, they could wait as long as they'd like, but we got to keep it moving and keep his legacy running. And so these are the things that we'll work with you behind the scenes to bring accountability. And who is the governor of Ohio?
Of Ohio. Let me see.
And the reason why we want to bring him up, I should have looked this up before. I'll just look it up. The governor of Ohio at the time, if it's the same one, is the one
DeWine.
that has to
Mike
be
DeWine.
sent a
Mike
letter.
DeWine.
Mike DeWine.
Yeah, Mike
Mike
DeWine,
DeWine.
DeWine. So Mike
D
DeWine,
Swine. D
um,
Swine. Mike D Swine.
D Swine. Yes, man. Yes,
Yeah,
man.
that sounds right.
Very well, yes. Very well deserved name too. But Mike DeSwine, we have to make him know, get him on notice, and let him know that these things transpired, that there's no justice at all, and we don't care that he knows that we're black. He's not gonna give a damn about none of it. It's okay, but we have to do our own due diligence in the process to keep his legacy alive. But there are steps and procedures that we got to take, and we're gonna make some noise. So we're gonna organize, agitate, educate, and make sure that that property is in the name and legacy of Paris. So with that we say again, thank you for being here with us. And Mr. and Mrs. White, Wright, if you'd like to have any closing statements as well.
We just thank you. We thank you for listening to our story and finding interest, because it just felt like we had no one on our side,
Oh,
So I appreciate
God
you.
is on. We appreciate you. God is on your side, sister. We running with the Most High here. National Chairman Sheikh Imam Akbar, we'd like for him to say a couple of words as well before we move on to our next topic, which will be Janet and Janine Africa.
Well, we want to thank you all for joining us tonight on Black Power Radio. I want to thank you as a family for staying together and being strong for each other, because it is the time and the hour of bereavement that it is the hardest for most families um, to manage in those very trying times. A loss of a loved one, and here's a store, I guess over in Springdale, right nearby in the city of Cincinnati, and is known for stamps. Somebody, the guy, if he's going to get hired or legally hired, could unexpectedly be stabbed, or somebody's going to pull a knife on you if something goes wrong. But what we don't expect is somebody's going to pull a knife on you and kill you because you work at a store. Uh, I think he tried to raise the banner, I don't know if it's the white flag, red flag, to alarm the people or say, I come in peace only to work. And this is all that black people have ever wanted to do in any of these situations, regardless of the circumstances. We just wanted to live a decent life in America, anywhere in America, Cincinnati otherwise, and earn a decent living, drive a decent car, and have provisions for our family. We don't think that we're asking too much for, we don't think we're asking too much. But I think sometimes, I think black people think that, I don't, we don't deserve to raise our issues, to wave our banner or our
Hmm.
white flag. Hey, something, hey, attention, something is wrong. Something is terribly wrong here. And we come in after the tragedy and say that, well, something should have been done. And I think the whole nation is that their alarm system are turned off, and we raise our flag, raise our hand, raise our white and blue flag, raise our red flag, and they do a drive-by. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we're saying, I think that the Minister of Justice has put it best, that we're going to have to change that dynamic. Well, we're going to raise some hell about these things. We'll be out tomorrow, at least by Wednesday, trying to bring attention to the fact of the abuse of black women. I know this is unrelated, but we have to start in our affairs. If the mother of all of us is being threatened and harassed and abused, then the black men have to stand up to protect our women, to protect our families, to protect Paris and all of those victims across America, from Trayvon to Stephon, uh, and black from Michael Brown to Eric Garner, and Ghana to this hour, and now Paris is gone because there's a criminal neglect, and the administrators and the U.S. government will support them in killing us and taking our lives and pass the case, or not allow justice to do its due diligence. They will non-process or pass the case concerning us, as you saw the same similar circumstances, the case of Michael Jackson's lookalike in New York, in New York City today. They just passed the case. And now the Marine is honored for killing him, unjustifiably killing an unarmed man in public. And they said, no, he didn't really do anything wrong. You just don't believe your lying eyes. And that's the spirit of what's coming in this new administration, that they don't give a damn about our life. They have no regard for us as human beings. We are not citizens of the land uh, under the United States or the United States. Or this government does not regard our life equally. You have to bear witness to that. This government does not,
Not
and
at
the
all. No
local,
way.
not at all, not at all. The local government, the state government, the national government, the federal government does not recognize us. They're just raising the issue today that red dye number one, this is U.S. government approved, saying that the red dye and these other yellow dye number 3 or 4 have to stop this food additives. It's causing cancer. It's threatening the lives. It's causing, again, emotional disturbance. And they centered right in on black youth and said it caused emotional disturbance in young people. But who's consuming the most? You see them. They can't wait to get some red Kool-Aid, some red fruit punch, knowing it's going to harm. The parents give it to the children, knowing they're doing damage to their children. That's how far
Yeah.
our minds have been led away from who we are.
You've been conditioned. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Absolute condition. I turn the mic by saying that we act as though there's something wrong with us for saying organic. Yes, I'm on the farm. And yes, I raise my own organic food, and I'm inviting you to do the same. I didn't pull no miracle. I purposely come to the organic concept, and we can raise our own food, raise our own animals, and feed. We can do food, clothing, shelter, transportation, technology, and every other entity that affects human life can be done by we the people. It's just that we have leaned on them so long and leaned on them so strongly for them to provide our necessities and our resources that we are almost in a stupor. We have to drag you to organic food and pull you to drink some real juice and water and get you off of that goddamn Kool-Aid and off the testicles of Trump, Biden, Condoleezza Rice, or any other politician. There's nothing but a carpetbagger or a charlatan looking for a free load or a free lunch from us. And all we have to do is now stand on our own family value systems and stand again on our own socialism and our own politics. And we will win, win, win. respect and dignity for ourselves. And for the first time in your life, like Adam Clayton Powell told you, that you will have your integrity intact. I land my plane by saying assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you and black power. And black revolution is the only solution. Amen. Amen.
I
Ra.
mean,
Amen.
Ashe,
Amen. Ra. Hotep. Hotep.
Ashe.
Amen. Amen. Ra. And
Hotel family,
Harambe,
this is
let us
New World.
all pull together, pull down on the new world. Harambe,
Harambe.
Harambe,
Harambe.
Harambe, Harambe. Let
Bombay,
us
black
all
power,
pull
black
together.
power,
Let us
Bombay.
all pull together.
Black
Black power,
Power.
black power.
We
How?
gotta ask somebody to leave the stage. Brother Barrett was trying to get on, but it's too many people on the stage.
Hey,
Well,
I'll
this is
slap
Brother
that.
New
I'll
World. I
slap
want to
that.
make a
I'll take the
report
bait.
from the Franklin Delano Roosevelt House. I'm here with Sonia Sanchez.
Yeah, I'll slap that on General Zinga. Yeah, I'll
Okay,
be on
brother.
my
Okay.
radio.
All
All
right.
right,
Thank
so we're
you.
going to our next guest. Thank you so
I
much,
think
Black
you have to,
Power.
one of them got to mute up. He was in the middle of saying something. Can you mute up and let him complete that? He's got Sonia Sanchez there, and that's important for New World. Is he still with us?
We got a
Sister
show to
Sonia?
run. We got Janine
Let-
Phillips on the show. He can just wait 1 second. Go
Okay,
ahead.
you run the keyboard, but
Moving
I'm
right
saying he
along.
was already in the middle of saying something. That was he
Okay.
invited
Yes.
to cut him off. You can't
So
cut him off. You can
yeah,
go to
we
the next
appreciate
guest,
that.
but please don't cut him off.
1985.
Please
Yeah.
allow him to finish his sentence.
In 1985, the move bombing,
Ma'am, I said,
locally known.
can you please allow him to finish his sentence
Um,
and not cut him off? That was terribly disrespectful.
yeah, it was. It was. What's even more disrespectful is that we actually we have guests on the show that have been scheduled.
That was a
Okay,
total
so
nightmare
we
from where I was
appreciate.
sitting.
All right. Well, we appreciate again for the Cobb, Dismukes, Cobb and Wright family for sharing the needs for justice for Paris. One of the things that we're going to work on for our next guest, 1985 move bombing. We're going to share the screen right now. This is May 13th, 1985. And we are so grateful to have Jean and Janet Africa here with us to share an update of what they're doing right now.
Okay, on the move, everybody. This is Janet Africa. Today is the day 43 years ago that Mumia. What you're looking at now is a live picture of water cannons pouring high pressure streams of water onto the top of the move house.
30 years ago, when the MOVE activists were bombed here in Philadelphia, the ways in which this country was terrorizing Black communities, I'd love to say that things are totally different from then to now. But in so many ways, the attacks on our movement continue to persist.
You made the decision to drop a damn bomb on my house. You ruined my life. At the bunker, they decided physically. At the bunker, they knew they was gonna burn down the whole neighborhood. Who gave them people that power?
I know one thing. If it would ever happen in a white neighborhood, they would have snuffed it out right in the beginning.
After they had, we realized that we had to get our children, our animals, and ourselves out of there. And when we got to the doorway, they opened fire on us. This was not a plan to simply move people into custody. This was a plan to.
What happened?
Don't know. Sound faded out.
Okay. Just 1 second. You gotta mute yourself for 1 second, New World. We coming to you. 1 second.
Uh,
You got the volume up, sis? I can't hear it.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I can't hear it.
Let's try this one more time. But nonetheless, let's just welcome our guests because time is a ticking. Welcome to the show. We have Miss Janet, and well, Janine and Janet will be on the show, but Miss Janet's going to be speaking today. Thank you, and welcome to Black Power Radio. Black Power.
Okay, on the move. We appreciate you having us. Today, it was 43 years that our brother Mumia, who covered our case, you know, you were just showing some video of our case, and that was some very hard, trying times where the MOVE organization, John Apsco's MOVE organization, was exposing this system, this government, for all the wrong that they had done. They dropped a bomb and murdered our family. And people know after murdering our family, 5 children were in that house, and 6 adults, 11 people they murdered in our family. And after that happened, we were in prison. Mumia, our brother Mumia Abu Jamal, covered everything that was going on. He covered us in prison. And after that, they attacked him and shot him, sent him to jail. And Mumia was, today, it would be 43 years that all this happened. And they had a press conference today. And at the press conference, they were talking about, they know they weren't even talking about Mumia. They started talking about my daughter and myself. My daughter was in house May 13th where they dropped the bomb. I was in prison at the time. 39 years later, y'all, after I had been home from prison for almost 5 years, they tell me they have the remains of my daughter, Delisha. Michael Davis gets on today on a press conference and starts talking about my daughter, Delisha's remains. I was very emotionally upset, and I still am, because he does not have the right to speak for my daughter's remains, and he does not have the right to speak for me, the mother of Delisha Africa. And most importantly, Michael Davis does not have the right to speak on behalf of John Africa's MOVE organization. This is what I want people to know if they happen to have seen the press conference or heard about it, because we are in some serious times, y'all. You know,
Yes, ma'am.
they have a saying about from the cradle to the grave. This government won't stop at anything. They go past the grave. They desecrated our children's bodies, their remains, because they hated us so much because we continue to fight this system. This system wanted to apologize to us for what they did to us, what they did to our children. And we tell them, and we're telling them now, that we don't want no apology from them. We don't want no money from them. We don't want a museum parade. What we want is justice. They
That's
cannot
right.
bring our family back. They cannot bring my daughter back. They cannot bring Janine's son back. But Mumia is still alive. He's innocent. What they can do is free Mumia Abu Jamal. Now,
That's
we've
right.
told them this over and over again, but they have not acknowledged in any way that they even want to open any avenues to communicate about letting Mumia go. So we are not stopping our position about freeing Mumia, and we want people to understand if you have the opportunity to speak out to support Mumia, to do so.
Yes, ma'am. On the
So
move.
this is Janine Africa. The issue with us that's so important is that these are our children that was murdered, remains that was desecrated, and Michael Davis they keep putting him out like he's the spokesperson, but he is not, and he is not pushing what we want, what is important to us. We made it very clear ever since the issue of the remains was exposed, because let's not get it wrong. These people are not doing this on their own to try to rectify the situation. All of this is coming about because someone in their inner sanctum exposed it. And once it got out, then they started coming with all of these apologies and things like this to try to cover their their tracks. So people don't think that this is a sincere emotion that they're trying to do. They are just trying to cover their tracks. But nonetheless, now that you put that out there and you want to apologize and you asking us what can they do to rectify the situation, and we are telling them the only thing that's important to us is the release of Mumia Abu Jamal.
That's right.
Nobody is pushing this. Michael Davis isn't pushing this. None of the people that was at that press conference today is pushing this. Our concern, our feelings is not being given any consideration. Nobody is speaking on what we want. Nobody is putting that up in the front. We don't want no plaque to commemorate what they did. It's for the whole world to see. Everybody knows what they did. We want them to focus on Mumia because he is alive. He is in that prison 43 years. They're taking his health, and we want him out before they kill him like they killed Phil Africa, Delbert Africa, Merle Africa, Chuck Africa. We want him out before they kill him like they did our family May 13th. You know, you can't give us our children back. You can't give us our brothers and sisters back, our animals back. You can't give us back them 41 years, but you can give us Mumia. And this is what's making us upset, because they're having press conferences and speaking like they know what they're talking about, what John Africa's Move organization want, and they don't. They don't. They are not putting out our feelings and our concerns. And that's why we want people to know they are not speaking for us. We have not authorized them to speak for us. If they want to do something, people need to come to us. Officials need to come to us, and they need to work with us to give us what we want if you are sincere about rectifying the situation. And that's why we're so upset. I know a lot of people don't understand who may have saw the press conference, but you don't understand. We are not being considered in this whole situation, you know, and
Yes.
it's, you know, and that's why we want people to know how we feel and to make it clear. Michael Davis, aka Mike Africa Jr., does not speak for John Africa's Move organization. He does not speak for Janet or Dalisha.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Can you tell us a little background on the press conference today and what was revealed concerning your daughter's remains?
Well, nothing was revealed. They were just using it as momentum for their purposes. But as far, we're in contact with the museum now because, getting the remains back, is not going to bring our children back. But we are in the process of taking care of that now. But see, people got to understand that this is not the first time they've done this. When, how many years ago? 3 years ago, they said they had the remains of our children. And now here we are, 39 years later. They're saying they have more. They keep finding these bits and pieces, they say, of our children's remains. But we feel like it's just a tactic that this government is using to mentally mess with our minds, because they know that the MOVE organization, John Africa's MOVE organization, has never stopped and will never stop fighting what's wrong, fighting the brutality, the injustice, the racism in this government, in this system. They know that. So they want to do everything they can to quiet us up, shut us up. Yes, we're older now than we was when we was hitting the pavement and demonstrating and protesting, getting locked up. We spent 41 years in jail, y'all, for a crime we didn't commit, a crime this government knows that we didn't commit.
That's
And
right.
they couldn't stop us then. They couldn't stop us with the bomb they dropped. They could not stop this organization, and they will never stop trying. And this tactic about our children's remains every few years coming up telling us this, it's a mental turmoil, hearing this, having to go through this over and over again with these people. But because our belief made us strong, and we know it's just a tactic to break us, to take our minds, to divert us from the activity we have about freeing Mumia, we know that. And we know that we have to be strong and stay strong. And the tactics that they use, don't let them divert us from our
Right.
purpose. And this is what we're doing now. This is what's going on now. We had a teaching for Mumia a few days ago to let people know what was happening with Mumia, how he's doing, and to keep fighting for Mumia. Keep fighting for really all political prisoners, but realize that things haven't changed. Things haven't changed much at all. This system still as racist as they can be. This system is still as wrong as they can be, and justice is nowhere to be found.
Yes.
Nowhere to be found. And they cover it up with all kinds of lies and diversions, but we are not letting them divert us. So, we're just saying thank you for the opportunity to allow us to put this information out. And if people have any questions or anything, they can ask us or communicate with the MOVE, John Africa's MOVE organization, and find out, because we are the mothers of these children that were murdered. The mothers. You can't
Yeah.
go to somebody that doesn't even know anything about it to find out what's going on. We are the ones to come to find out what is happening with us, with our children, and with Mumia.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yeah, and that's, it's so important because at the press conference, the demands that they put out don't coincide with what we want. And the thing is so upsetting because they're talking about a plaque. They're talking about getting back that rebuilt house on Osage and arresting the people that worked for the museum. And what we want people to see, and why it's so upsetting, because with them focusing on that, where does Mumia come in at? And if they
Right.
get their demands, then people will be satisfied and say, oh, well, they rectified the situation because they gave him this. Meanwhile, Mumia is still sitting in prison. And we're not letting anybody divert from the issue here. And that's what that does. That will divert people from the serious situation of Mumia and make them think that something's being done to ease the pain of what this system has done to us. And that's why we're so angry, because this is important, people. This man is in prison. He's 70
Right.
years old. 70 years old. They made him refuse to treat him for hepatitis C, waited until his liver started getting the sclerosis. He's got all kind of health issues. He had open heart surgery. He had COVID. This is not a game. You know, we're not on here pushing just to be seen and try to get any kind of monetary reparations. This is serious, and this is why we're so upset, and why we are now we're just coming out and saying, listen, they're not speaking for us.
Okay.
Because yes, it's really important. It's serious. This is serious business. And I know if anybody was in prison like Mumia, they would want people to fight for them like we're fighting for Mumia. That we can't get our families back. That's done. You know, we can't get
Yeah.
it back. But we can get Mumia out of prison. And that's all we want people to focus on. We can't stress it enough how important this is to us. And these people that's out here in front of the cameras, they are not putting our concerns first. And this is supposed to be about our family, our children.
In our
Can you
regards,
tell us?
can we
Yeah.
just
Can you give
confirm?
us an update on how Mamiya is doing, and how, if we are able to support him to write letters to him? Can you give us an update on his condition?
Well, his condition, he's doing a little better, but he's still having complication. And Mumia, he's the kind of person, he won't complain. You know, he just keeps pushing, he keeps going. But his situation is serious, even though he is doing a little better. His spirits is always strong, and he's always uplifting and trying to help others, you know. And at this point, the only thing people can do is keep the pressure on the politicians, on the clergy, on your state reps, on the news media, to just keep it out there. Like, you know, just keep his name out there. Any little thing people can do, like you said, writing him helps, you know, just anything people could think of that they can feel comfortable with doing will help. You have to let this system know that people are watching the situation and not settling for the things that they're trying to do to Mumia. It's there, you know, he has lawyers and they're going through procedures. But as John Africa has taught us and has been seen, there is no justice in the legal system for anybody that speaks up against this system. So, you know, you could take those steps, but the real pressure comes from the people. And anything somebody could think of, even if it's just writing a brief little statement to your editorials in the newspapers, or calling into a radio program and just saying, you know, what's being done for Mumia Abu-Jamal. Anything helps.
Now, is there a way that if somebody would like to write to him, I know he has to receive letters. Is there an address that we can put out there for those who want to send their support?
Yeah, she's getting the address now, but also
Okay.
we like to send our regards to the family that was just on the program, and we know how it is to lose a loved one. And the best thing that we can tell you is just stay strong and keep moving, because the time will make things a little better but you will always remember, you'll never forget. I mean, we lost a lot of family members throughout the years, a lot of comrades throughout the years. And, you know, it falls against your heart very hard, but you have to remain strong because people need a strong example to stay motivated. Like the sister that was just on, you know, she's
Yes,
heartbroken. I know how she,
Jordan.
you know, Jordan, and our hearts go out to you, and we know how you feel. Just, you know, express your feelings, let it flow, but you are going to be all right, and we are a testament to that. We've lost children, we've lost husbands, we've lost brothers, we've lost sisters, we've lost wives. So just stay strong, and everything will fall in place.
Okay, so
Yes. Thank you
if
so much.
anybody want to write Mumia, the address is Smart Communications /PADOC, Mumia Abu Jamal. His number is AM 8335 SCI Mahanoy, P.O. Box 33028, St. Petersburg, Florida 33733. And when you write, you have to use a white envelope, or they will just automatically send your letters back. So make sure you don't use any colored envelopes. And we're telling and encouraging people to keep pressure on Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner, 3 South Penn Square, 19107. And his phone number is 215-686-8000. His email is justice@philadelphia.gov, because Krasner has the authority to throw the charges out against Mumia. His group that he has formed has done this for about 80 other people that had similar issues in their cases, as far as police misconduct, judicial misconduct, like in Mumia's case. And there's no reason for Mumia to be sitting in prison, and Krasner has the authority and the power to do something about it. So, you know,
Why do you
right?
think? Why do you think their Krasner is? Well, we kind of have a feeling or idea of why they're holding Mumia because of who he represents, who he stands for. But why do you think they're continuing to try to make Mumia Abu Jamal an example?
Well, because he has so much influence because of all the work he has done through the years. You know, the name Voice of the Voiceless.
Yes.
If Mumia has the influence, if people see him speaking on something or supporting something, they're going to trust that and they're going to get involved. And this system does not want people being influenced to speak out against them or to support MOVE, because, you know, this system since the early 70s have been trying their best to exterminate the MOVE organization, to stop John Africa. And Mumia, who met MOVE
Yes,
people
ma'am.
through the, of course, tragic situations. You know, I met him personally and got involved with speaking with him when they killed my 3-week-old baby, March 28th, 1976. That's what started me communicating with Mumia. And he was always putting out not journalism for MOVE or against the police. He would just put out the truth. He printed what everything we said, and he printed everything the police said. And because we were telling the truth and the police was lying, it came out in our favor. And he was influencing people to look at the situation honestly which was going to influence them to start putting pressure on the system for what they were doing to move. And this system did not want that.
Right.
Mumia has a lot of influence. And if you will notice, the people, political prisoners that are in prison are the ones that this government see as a threat. They see as a threat. They feel like have influence to gather people and direct people in the right direction against them. And that's why they're targeting Mumia, because everybody loves Mumia. And
Yes,
they want
very
you,
intelligent brother.
yes, they love him. And
Yes.
they just feel like they could not have him out there giving people the truth. They can't have that. And see, he won't stop. He won't
Right.
stop. He's still doing it from prison. And so they feel like he's like a symbol for people, and they want to tear that down. Like the same thing they did with our house when they attacked us August 8th, 1978. They tore it down because they claimed they didn't want it to be seen as a rallying point for people. They didn't want them to see that as a symbol, And one other thing I want to speak on before we stop, this situation with the remains and how horrible it was what they did to our family. We've been told things that they did that just would turn your stomach, that people saw that they actually did to the remains of all of the people that was in the house May 13th. I can't even really talk about what they did, and this is not the first time that this has been done to move. After all of this happened, we lived at 4504 and 4506 King Sesson Avenue.
Miss Janine, before you continue, can you center your phone so we can see your face actually? Because it's cut off.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now we can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
So at that house that, we were still in prison, but our family was on the street. They lived there for 20 years or more. And in our yard, they had a place, a burial
Actually,
plot there.
yeah,
And
if you can, not to be disruptive, but yeah, it kind of went off.
there you go. How about that?
Yes, now we can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in the backyard, because it was a very large yard, they had a burial area. And we've had many relatives, family members, and animals, and everything that was laid to rest back there. Well, the house suspiciously caught on fire last year. And when it caught on fire, 3 days after the fire, LNI in the city said that they were tearing the house down, which is unheard of. Nobody, I mean, you go through the neighborhoods, and how many abandoned houses been sitting there for years, and people complained about it and nothing's done about it. But anyway, LNI went to court, the judge backed them up, and they destroyed the house. But when they went to court about it, the lawyers and everything was saying that, it was just supposed to be the part of the yard where the house structure was. Well, the people, just to be mean and nasty, they went past where the house was, went all the way back to where our burial sites were, and dug them up and left everything just up in an upheaval, sitting on top of the dirt back there. This is how they feel about me. That is continued. I mean, they just went back there deliberately where they shouldn't have been and disrupted our burial sites. And I mean, it was
monstrous.
So disrespectful, so disrespectful. And it's the same with this issue. That's why we're telling people they're not doing this with the remains out of concern and really seriously being sorry for it. They got exposed. Had that story not leaked out, they would have still had our children in those lab drawers in boxes where they had them for 39 years. And this is why when they first said that apology, this is why people was asking us, well, they apologized. How did that make you feel? And we said, apology is nothing but words. We want to see something behind it. And you can see nothing behind it. Nothing. So,
Yes. And we're grateful that you're on tonight's show to express your concern and to bring clarity because, again, your legacy and the children's legacy should not be used without your consent as far as what the real issue is, and that's to free Mumia. Free
exactly.
Mumia.
Exactly. So
Yes.
thank you so much. That it helps us in situation like this because was so hard for us to sit here and watch and see, and we just felt like we had to have people hear our voice and get the issue straight here.
And we appreciate you giving us that opportunity. Okay, everybody.
Absolutely. And we want you to come back and give us some updates. But if you, again, for those who want to contact Mumia, write him some letters. We put it in the chat as well. And we'd love for you to partake in that and support him because he should have been released a long time ago. So, National Chairman, you need to chime in. Queen Janae, have any questions for our guest? While I'll
Go
share
ahead,
this.
Chairman, if you read. Okay, yes, I just want to say this is Sister Janae down in Washington, D.C. I just love your family so much. I got to spend some time with Pam when she was here in DC. And
Yes.
I'm very familiar with your story. My dad is from Philadelphia, and he remembered that day and what happened to your family as well. He always spoke about it when I was a little girl. That was part of the reason why we left DC and moved down south, because they were coming after the Black Panther Party members and the MOVE members. And anybody that was advocating for Black power, they were attacking them
Yeah.
in that manner. And I believe that incident spooked my dad so bad when they approached him here in DC. He just packed up everything in the middle of the night and we moved to South Carolina. That's how it was because they warned him. The mafia, the feds, and the police came and said, "We know you got a young family, and we need you to push these drugs through your businesses. We know you're a Black Panther member, and you do what we tell you to do, or you leave." And he chose to leave. And this is how dirty they play.
They
So
play dirty. Very
that's
dirty.
right. Very dirty. So my whole family got split up. Brothers and sisters got carted off. Mom, they had to go to their mamas and all that. We were a blended family. And me and my brother were packed up in the middle of the night and moved to South Carolina.
Wow.
So, I can attribute my struggle and even now to this day that we can't even prove who we're related to because of slavery. And the disbursement, we really like the girl said in the poem the other day, we can't even have a real family reunion. You know what I'm saying? Not truthfully.
True. That's true.
You understand? We can't
Yeah.
even do that. And look at what happened to your family. The separation. And that, I'm so glad you are here tonight to speak your truth.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I said the same thing. I said they don't care nothing about, that they're trying to free their brother. They're trying to free Mumia. Now they want to come up with all of a sudden you found these remains and y'all done had them for 39 years.
They have
Make it
all
make
kind of
sense.
dirty tactics that they use.
Yeah, make it make sense though. Make it
Yeah.
really truly make sense. I'm 46. You understand? I'm a baby to y'all, but just what I'm saying. At
Yes.
3 years old, it happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can relate to my family going through the struggle the same time yours was. So I really commend you ladies for your strength. I don't know how you
Yes.
did it all these years. I don't know how you still doing it, but I pray that you you drift a little bit of that over here to me and our crew at the Black Power Radio, because it's not hard fighting for the liberation of Black people.
That's right.
I mean, it is hard. I'm sorry. It's not easy. Put it like
It's not
that.
easy.
It comes with a lot of heartache. It comes with a lot of pain and discouragement. But you ladies have continued to fight the good fight for Mumia. You continue to hold your ground. And I just thank you and I love you all so much. Anytime you come to DC, please hit me up
Okay,
or
we
let me
appreciate.
know.
And John
Yeah.
Africa told us that you might as well raise hell because they're gonna raise hell on you anyway. So you might
Yeah,
as well raise hell with them.
that's
They
right.
ain't gonna stop. Being mercy, putting your hands together and
Mhm.
bending your knees is not gonna stop them. So you might as well raise hell.
That's
Amen.
right.
That's what
Long
we've been doing, raising hell in
Only
That's
DC.
got
right.
Yeah.
one life. That's right. If you
Mhm.
can, Miss Janine, to give us that address one more time for those who may have missed it. I'm gonna pull up a clip while you get that in order. I'll pull up a clip of many media concerning our brother Mumia Abdul Jamal. Let me just play this right quick, and then you could uh, read.
Of half of a block on a B block at Mahanoy. There were about 45 men sitting around playing cards, playing dominoes, playing chess, talking, some reading, some watching television at a distant corner. This is population, at least the block in phase or block out phase where you're out of your cell.
So you are back in the news because of a bill that was just signed by Pennsylvania Governor Corbett that would limit your ability to speak after you just gave a commencement address, a taped commencement address to Goddard. Can you respond to the signing of this bill?
I think it's really quite extraordinary that unconstitutional Tom Corbett, a former attorney general of the state of Pennsylvania, as governor, would sign into law a law that he knows is unconstitutional.
This call is from the State Correctional Institution at Mahanoy and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Moreover, as a governor and as an attorney, right, and a member of the bar, he had to take a sworn oath for both offices. And that oath was to protect and defend the constitutions of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Constitution of the United States of America. By signing that bill into law, he has violated both of his oaths as governor and as an attorney. As I said, he knows what the law is. He knows about Snyder versus Phelps. I'm sure you covered the case of the church that went around to funerals and let's say harassed people's families. They were burying their veterans, and they would have signs within earsight and eyesight of the families burying their dead. Went to the Supreme Court because there was a similar law passed against them. And every court they went into found it a violation of the First Amendment, including the United States Supreme Court, which ruled 8-1 that the First Amendment free speech protection shielded these church members from tort liability for intentional infliction of emotional distress. This is something that I know unconstitutional Tom knows about.
Unconstitutional Tom. This is precisely why they can't stand him. This man is a walking encyclopedia. If you didn't know that he was in prison, he has one of the best voices for journalism, for radio. He is just one of the most intelligent elders, black men that I've ever come across. And this is why we have to band together to make sure that this man is free. And we thank you so much, Janine and Jeanette, for standing in the gaps, and others as well. But it has to be a village. We got to do what we
Mhm.
can, at least in 2025, family. So if you can, give us the address one more time for those who may want
Okay.
to, please send them a
All right.
letter.
So to write Mumia Abu Jamal, you have to say write to Smart Communications / PADOC. Mumia Abu Jamal, AM 8335, SCI Mahanoy, P.O. Box 33028, St. Petersburg, Florida 33733. And remember, it has to be a white envelope.
A plain white envelope.
Yes.
All right. All right. With that being said, yes, free Mamiya. We got many people in the chat. Free Mamiya right now. This is so inspiring, and we thank God again for you to come on and share not only your concerns, but also reignite in us the need to really support Mumia at this time, and all of our political prisoners. H. Rap Brown, we can't forget him as well. Uh, the fight just started, family. It's been over what, 40 years?
Yes, right.
Yeah,
43
40 years.
years.
43 years. It's way too long. Way too long.
Yes. Yes.
So, do we
After,
have any? Do you have any closing comments, Miss Jeanine and Jeanette, for our listening audience on points of actions that we need to take?
well, the only thing that I can tell you is, like John Africa taught us, never give up. And no matter how things may appear, when you're right, that power of righteousness will never betray you. You can't look at how things appear. You just have to keep going, keep fighting, and never give up, and stay united, because that is the power that we have against this system. Because this system got plenty of guns, bombs, police,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't fight unity. Unity is the
That
most
part.
powerful force that we got. And we need to always cling to that no matter what. It don't matter. Just keep your eyes focused on the real threat to everybody, and don't let it deter you in any kind of way. In any kind of way. So just never give up and stay united.
And don't get discouraged because they said that we would never come home. I don't know how to get this back in here, but they told us that we would be in jail for the rest of our life. We had to go through some trying hard times. We spent 41 years in prison, but look, because of the support of the people, the work of our family, the teaching of John Africa, we are out. So the same thing will happen for Mumia if we unite, stick together, and fight. Fight for what's right. Free them all, y'all. Free them all.
That's right. Power to the people.
All power to the people. Thank you
Yes.
so much. We
We're
have a young person on here, Queen Kayla. You listening? You with us?
Yes, yes, I'm tapped in. I'm listening.
Okay. You have anything you want to say to the queens?
No, absolutely. Just sending my condolences to the first family that came and shared their story, and just to share my support and solidarity with these sisters in their fight for what they have been through. Has been enlightening to understand. The people who really witnessed it and still are fighting. I went through a situation where I had to go through a lockdown, and it wasn't as long as 40 years, but the little time I did do was just completely, I can't imagine having to do those long stints, especially when you're innocent. Um,
right.
so just sending my condolences and support, and just locking in and just appreciative to experience those who's been through it and still fighting through it, and connecting with uh, some new energy to help keep that power and that fire burning. So I appreciate you guys still not only sharing your stories, but really staying steadfast in the fight and the journey. So my much appreciation and respect more than anything. So I thank y'all.
Thank you.
Right on, right on.
Right.
So much energy. So we appreciate you again. And so next week, join us on Black Power Radio, where we highlight the Million Youth March, the 26th-year anniversary, September 5th and 6th in DC, where we are going to honor our ancestors, Khalid Muhammad, as well as Master P. We thank him for sponsoring the first event, and we look forward to having all our voices, all our hearts and minds, give it to the youth. So on the move, Janine and Janet, Africa, you are internally in our hearts and minds and prayers. And thank you again for coming on Black Power Radio to share your update. Please don't be a stranger and come again.
Okay, we will. We appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Free them all.
That's right. Let's free Mumia, free them all. All right. So our closing comments is our national chairman on. And
Nope,
this is your
they exited.
the exit stage
Everybody
left. Okay.
exited it. Yeah. Mhm.
All right, family. So we are so grateful again. Thank you for joining us on Black Power Radio. Keep it live, keep it black, take it all back, and make it all black. We'll see you next week. This is your friendly neighborhood policy analyst, Dr. Truth Bay, with my co-hosts, Queen Janae and Zinga. And we'll see you next
All
week.
right. Black
more.
power. Black
One
power,
love.
y'all. We ended the show now. Brother Thomas.